These were the first thoughts we had from our stay in Katowice. We used these as a starting point for our proposal. The city and the campus are fragmented into zones, and it seems difficult to navigate around the city. The campus and the city have no direct link or clear centre, and most space is dedicated to cars, car parking or roads. On speaking to students and residents of the city, other non-spatial issues appear to be a declining core industry, which is contributing to the city's unclear future identity. There is also a lack of political engagement. Figures show that only 47% of people voted in the local elections, and less than 25% of people voted in the EU elections. Other concerns include population shrinkage. Young people are leaving to work elsewhere. Katowice has a very low unemployment rate, but 30% of the population are in unsecured jobs. There is a strong culture for growing your own veg here, but over a third of allotments are seriously contaminated. There was also recurring comments on the preference of cars, polluted air and water, and the weak cycling infrastructure. When we arrived home, we gathered some more detailed information on the issues raised. First, by comparing Poland, Silesia and Katowice district. Poland ranks 9th in the world for coal production and 4th for brown coal. 83% of Poland's electricity is generated by coal. Global production of coal is up 60% since 1990. 28% of the population are agricultural workers. However, land quality yield is low compared to other European countries. Silesia has the highest density index in the country. 12% of its area is urban. Silesian voivodeship is described as Poland's energy production centre. A wide range of agricultural foodstuffs are produced in the area. The majority of residents work in services, and 24% work in industry and construction. There are 240 trade unions in the district, although the amount has plummeted since the end of the communist era. Traditionally, miners would grow food as a secondary income. 57% of allotments in Katowice were set up by institutions. We then looked at energy in more detail, because the city's past and present is intertwined with energy production. Black energy is on its way out. It is common knowledge that one day, not so far away, it will be unavailable in the quantity needed. Poland is very reliant on the coal industry. This means it would be at risk in the future. This applies to Silesia and Katowice, as Katowice people feel a connection with miners even if not directly employed by the mines themselves. By importing as much as they export, they are driving the price of coal down. Poland is forced to do this to earn trading points to make up for its excess of carbon emissions. Poland is perceived as a black energy nation, so we wanted to investigate whether this was entirely true. Poland gets 13.6% of its energy from renewables. This is mainly wind farms and biomass. Poland sits on top of geothermal activity, which is currently unharnessed. This dot here is Katowice city. Silesia has mostly solar thermal collectors in the centre, wind in the north and photovoltaic stations in the south. We would like to find a way to bond the university with the existing energy producing city to secure a future for Katowice. How can we do this? We started by analysing commonalities between as many groups as possible and using these to sustain Silesia's identity. This diagram was to map tensions and agreements between organisations and individuals. The university expresses a strong incentive to include the city in its future, although currently is quite isolated. There are tensions between the Polish government and the EU because the EU has strict rules on CO2 emissions, but the Polish government wants to keep their identity as coal energy producers. To replace coal in the future, the government is pushing nuclear. Coal communities don't want nuclear, neither do ecologists. Mining communities are strong, but their long-term future is unclear. They are used to being the providers of energy, money and food. We would like to explore these opportunities to continue these outcomes through an adapted energy production for a range of people. The city has split ideas of identity and its alignment with the government and the EU. However, an issue they all have in common is the declining industry and energy supply and the uncertain future identity. Katowice's identity is directly associated with energy production. The city was founded during the Industrial Revolution because of the wealth brought by energy extraction. The university was founded in 1968. As coal mining began to decline, the university took over as the prime employer of the city. This leaves a sharp divide in the skill sets of the residents and a difficulty with being able to relate to one another. Coal production peaked in 1979, population peaked in 1987, and as the coal industry weakened, population fell. In the year 2000, 40 coal mines were closed in Silesia. Poland joined the EU in 2004, and in 2008 40 billion tonnes of lignite was discovered in the region. In 2014, 15,000 miners protested in Katowice. We propose to phase out the sentimental connection with coal by processing it to increase its value and produce methane, hydrogen and humic matter. Methane can be used in power stations to produce electricity and to heat homes. Processing of coal would happen at site of extraction. This would improve resilience and help to prevent financial crashes and citizen dissatisfaction while improving quality of life. Before phasing in a new method of energy production, we would need to phase in the proposal. This would include changes instigated by us, which can be carried out by the individual. This would start engagement with the ethos of the project. Second step changes are centred around structural changes. We are exploring ways to allow it to be beneficial to include more teamwork between faculties working towards a common goal. This would ensure another layer of engagement. Then large-scale development could begin. The campus would become a huge strategic think tank to test the strategy for the future. This would include new and existing interactive ways of individuals being part of the energy production. Also the development of future energy resources. The next question is how to create this on site. We did some more detailed spatial analysis. This shows the divide that exists between the old centre and the university. It has this feeling probably because the grain of the planning is so different. The university is very sparse for the pedestrian. The primary development plots will be along the main route. The secondary development plots will be on the streets to the north and the south of the main route. This will create a clear centre for the university and the city, and also provide a clear path between the two. Next we have existing movement, showing car routes, pedestrian paths and bus routes and stops. We propose to vastly increase permeability of the site, therefore making it far easier to navigate around. Cars that are coming to the university would come straight off the highway into a multi-storey car park. This would free up a lot of land for improvement. The bus route would be amended to go through the site and the secondary avenue. We have used our proposed faculty engagement suggestions to create a framework for our master plan. There are a series of strategies. Each of these strategies have a methodology. Reappropriating space, a new use for an existing space. Connect, top floors, ground floors, bridge and path. Renovation, exterior or interior. Extension, vertically or horizontally. Relocation, move a faculty. New build, create a new building or faculty. Demolish, remove or partly remove a building or faculty. This is how we have begun to implement these strategies. Here are the existing faculty locations. From our site analysis, we identified this area as a key centre for the university. This should be a vibrant place with a mix of people using it. We are exploring the possibility of installing a water filtration building to work alongside the biology and environmental science faculty to develop new ways of cleaning polluted water. The building would clean the water as well as a reminder of progression in the area. We have proposed an outdoor amphitheatre which would make a feature of the clean river by locating the stage on top of it. We think the students are lacking a proper students' union. There is nowhere for them to gather and relax on campus. The students' union would also be the centre for student voice, events and support, run by and for the students. This would also ensure the site was in use around the clock. The pink area shows a reappropriation. The social and political sciences would have a new area for organising in-house elections, meant to expose students to a range of political ideas and allow them to engage in politics easily. The speakers would also be able to use the new amphitheatre. Biology will have a physical connection on upper floors to the biotechnology building. The biotechnology faculty will encourage research to focus on new ways of producing energy. For their experiment modules, they will also be able to test their ideas on a variety of scales. This will help to produce an engaging surrounding. It will also be the headquarters for the biocoal processing, which will happen at the extraction point. The byproduct of this process will be distributed from the building across the city to decontaminate surrounding soil. We propose that the existing protected buildings of this area are integrated with new residential and student accommodation with a sizable amount of green space. There will also be some rentable space and commercial units to service these homes. This is to ensure the area has a good mix of uses and users and is fully occupied all year round. To the east is the sports centre. This building will gradually expand its outdoor facilities as the air quality increases. We propose to expand the Careers Centre's presence. They would be provided with a new space for business startup units to liaise with students, businesses and local skilled people. The building will also have residential units and a community hall, a hireable space for anyone to rent. In line with the university's plan to bring philology to the centre of campus, we propose to reappropriate this building for their use next to foreign languages. As a result, the subject of chemistry will be moved during the faculty. This building's layout appears to be a poor use of space, so we propose to replace them with 2 more space-efficient buildings. This area will be for contaminated soil testing. It would also become a centre for food trading. We would suggest that food is grown on site by hydroponic methods. Residents could then swap, like-for-like, contaminated produce for healthy produce. The university could use these contaminated vegetables for testing, or as anaerobic waste. The uni could also design seed packs for decontamination of soil to supply citizens with, for a way of helping to improve the problem on a personal level. Political systems make long-term planning inherently difficult. The university is the only institution that has the resources and long-term thinking needed to plan for the future. We are proposing that the university begins to engage with all levels of society to help everyone work to a common goal, securing Katowice's future.